Hi, Cancer. This is your Sun, Moon, and Rising reading for the month of March 2018. I do a Sun, Moon, and Rising reading. I sometimes hear a reader say, if this doesn't resonate with you, check your Sun, Moon, and Rising. If I find a reader that resonates with me, I'll listen to all three just to sort of build a whole picture. For me, the moon sign sort of represents the inner life, the emotions, what I'm really feeling and thinking. Who I am with people that I'm most comfortable with, maybe like roommates or long-term partner, spouse, children that I live with comfortably. Who I am when I let my hair down, let my guard down. And sun sign, of course, every sign has its characteristics that we can sort of see in the spirit of someone who has that sun sign, right? Like Cancer, usually known, you rule the fourth house, so you're all about home and nurturing and and every sun sign has those, and they're definitely true, but we can't define anybody purely by the characteristics of their sun sign. Like, some of the things that are said are sort of unfair in general, I think, So I try not to do that. And then the rising sign is so important in the chart, as it establishes where the first house is, so it establishes where every house is. But for the purposes of a sun, moon, and rising reading, I'll watch my sun sign to understand how it's kind of like people who don't really know me yet, like the mask I'm wearing or, the image I'm managing. When I'm in new situations, I think I revert to the characteristics of my ascendant sign. So when I do a sun, moon, and rising reading, I do it thinking in terms of the possibility that it can be used in combination to get a whole understanding of an individual, the many layers of an individual. So I just wanted to clear that up. So this is a variation on the Gypsy Tarot spread. There are 7 rows of 3. The first row represents you. The second row represents your environment. The third row is what is known to you. The fourth row is what is unknown to you. The fifth row represents your hopes and or fears. This row, the sixth, represents your near future. And the seventh row represents your overall outcome. And I'll explain it as we go along. So, Cancer, this is you for the month of March, the 9 of Wands. So the 9 of Wands is the idea of sort of one final test. Something that you've been trying to achieve or accomplish has been, arduous and fatiguing. But there's one final test. And that's manifesting as the King of Pentacles. So that is contributing to your security effectively. The King of Pentacles is the card of Taurus. And what's at the root of that, what's driving that, is the 2 of Cups, so the soulmate card. So, true love of someone or something, or love of, your relationship with yourself or your relationship with your work. So I see you here in the month of March as being at the end of being tested. And that manifesting in, a great stability. And what's driving that is this soulmate love. In your environment, The condition is the Ten of Pentacles. So this is the legacy card. So there's legacy, or the building of a legacy, or the potential for legacy in your environment. And how that's manifesting, Cancer, is as the King of Wands. So this is the card of Leo. Kings are the fixed signs in the tarot. Leo is the fixed sign of fire. This also can represent an entrepreneur or entrepreneurial pursuits, entrepreneurial energy in your environment, enterprising. And what's at the root of that is the King of Cups. So you have 3 kings so far in your reading. 2 of these kings are in your environment. The King of Cups represents Scorpio, or it can represent the idea of emotional maturity. So if we're reading your environment as energy, then it's enterprising, emotionally mature, and set on legacy. Let's see what is known to you, Cancer. What's known to you seems to be that there's something to be faced, something to be decided upon. And that's manifesting as the Ten of Wands. So that's the end of the burdens, where you'll finally be able to lay them down. And what's driving that, what's at the root of that, is the Moon card. So something is hidden. You know that something is hidden, I suppose. This is the card of Pisces. Let's see what's unknown to you, Cancer. The Five of Pentacles. The sense of being trammeled, of being left out in the cold. You know, your needs or your interests not protected. It can sometimes be an indication that you need to ask for help. And how that is manifesting is the Lovers, the card of Gemini. So this would indicate that you have choice, and that any decisions you need to make need to be made with love and with everybody's best interest considered. And what's at the root of that is conflict. So this row would indicate that it's unknown to you that conflict is driving a sense of, someone's sense of, having their interests unprotected, being left out in the cold or forgotten. And that's manifesting in the need for loving consideration and decision making. Now, whether this decision making involves this is something that you can maybe piece together yourself regarding your own life. In your hopes and fears, we have the Seven of Swords. So, because you're aware, you have a sense of secrecy, Cancer, then that would suggest that this card represents a fear of, sneakiness or betrayal, or somebody strategizing against you. If it represents hopes, it can represent the idea that you hope to be effectively tactical, to make, decisions that yield fruit. careful, well-planned, efficient, strategic decisions. And how the Seven of Swords in your hopes and fears is manifesting is as the Three of Cups. Now this can represent the idea of celebrating, small groups celebrating, which would indicate if this is a hope of yours, then you hope that effective management of the situation will, yield like a happy camper situation. If it's a fear, you could possibly fear that you're on the outsides of information, that you're essentially going to be betrayed in either a third-party situation or, to be on the outside of vital knowledge or something like that. Let's see what's at the root of this. It might clear it up. Well, the sun is at the root of this. So I would say that it's a hope that things will be managed well and that everybody will be happy with the result. It seems as though you may have some people in your midst who are unhappy in small ways and not necessarily communicating it to you. I'm getting that maybe you need to be in a sort of counseling role with some of the people in your environment. In your near future, you have the Fool card. That's a leap of faith, the beginning of a new cycle, the beginning of a new series of lessons. It's elevation to a new state of being, and it's the very beginning, the jumping off point, where you're just full of enthusiasm and eagerness. Nothing is holding you back. And how that's manifesting is in the Seven of Wands. So in this new venture, in your leap of faith, you're manifesting a need to stand your ground, which is probably a good thing. And what's at the root of that in the near future is the Magician. So you have the ability to manifest. You're taking a leap of faith, and it's going to require that you stand your ground. Now for your overall outcome, Cancer, we have the King of Swords. This is the card of Aquarius. It's also the energy or the practice of pure truth and decision making, or allowing life to happen as a result of truth, not concealing anything, just telling the truth and letting the chips fall, and living in that strength of the truth and accepting all outcomes of the truth and working with those accepted outcomes. And how that's manifesting is the Chariot, which is you. So in your outcome, your card is manifested, moving forward. But it's also significant that it's the card of Cancer, and this is a Cancer reading. And what's at the root of that is the Two of Wands. Just very clearly choosing a path and standing in your own power. So that's your reading for the month of March 2018, Cancer. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I look forward to reading for you again. Thank you for being here.